Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel and I hope all of you are doing great. So in today's video, we'll be looking at some swing trading setups for the coming week. So in this video, we'll just go through some stocks, some charts, and we'll see how they are setting up for the coming week. Right, these are the stocks that I've gone through after my weekly scan. Right, I've selected few names and we'll go through the names, why I like those names and if they're looking good or not. So disclaimer, I'm not a SEBI registered analyst and any stock discussed here is not a recommendation. This is only for educational purpose only. Please consult your financial advisor before taking any trade or making any investment. Right. So the sectors where I'll be focusing on, right? So first is the railways. Although you might say railway is overvalued and railway has already gone up a lot, and I agree with that view. But again, there is still momentum. What I'll do in this case is I'll reduce the exposure to the railways, right? Because again, if we see few weeks back, defense was the sector which was very in upswing and which was performing really well. But then it stopped, and since last 3-4 weeks, it has been just consolidating, right? And the railways has picked up the first place. So again, here I'll be reducing my exposure, but again, there are some good setups that are still available in this category. Second is the sector that is gaining strength right now is the power sector. And we'll be looking at some power names which are setting up well for now. And some of them have already moved up a bit, right? Third one is the sector that is again gaining good strength is the oil and gas sector, especially the oil refineries and oil exploration companies. They have been gaining strength. Fourth sector that I'll be focusing on is the IT, especially the large cap IT, especially after the TCS result. We also how they moved on Friday, right? So hopefully it's not like a one day move, right? So we'll be looking at few IT setups as well. And the last sector that is defense, because again it is although it may not be performing really well, but it is still standing strong, right? So I'll be focusing on these sectors. And my setup preference would be I'll be looking at the tightness setup, right, which is again one of my favorite setup. That is then we'll be also looking at the big base, some big base setups and few reversals. So I have created separate watch list for all these kind of setups, right? So first tightness, big base and the reversals. So let's get right into it. We'll be looking at few stocks, few setups, right? So this is my main watch list that I keep, that is the actionable watch list. And from here, after further selection, I'll just keep four or at most five setups where I'll be focusing on for the week, at least till they have not broken out or till I feel like I have to replace those setups, right? So first one is here that I have is a IPO setup, popular vehicle or so, right? So why do I like this setup? First of all, again, it is IPO base. First of all, it's an IPO base, right? So right after the IPO, the stock went down. Again, there was strong recovery that happened, and now it is again here's some bit of tightness that is forming, right? Plus we have a good trend line resistance here. So if this area is crossed somewhere around 265 or so, it can move higher. Second one that I like is the Ratnamani metals and tubes. So again, the pipe sector is also gaining some strength. As you can see, you'll see this Ratnamani, Man Industries, Welspun Corp. These are the companies in this sector that are gaining strength. Venus Pipes and Tubes as well, right? And you'll see it is in a good uptrend and it is consolidating in a tight range and it is taking support at the 10 and the 21-day moving average very well, right? Although I don't really like this exact stock, especially because of the up moves and down moves it gives, right? It's a very choppy kind of stock and I like lean structures, right? So that's why my preference towards this is low, although the setup is really good near all-time high level, and plus the tightness is developing here. Next one, Precall. Again, it is also a kind of a choppy stock, not one of my preferred stocks, right? Because again, why I say choppy, because you can clearly see the long upper wicks and the lower wicks that are forming in this case, right? And but again, there's tightness developing above the 21-day moving average, so that is why I picked this up. Fourth one is the sale and exploration, again from oil and gas sector, right? So again, it is also a kind of a choppy stock, but again, you'll see there's some tightness developing here. Plus another thing is that the sector itself is gaining strength, right? So just like I said. right? Right, so again I'll be looking at this one. Then we have genus power, that is, although it is coming out of a first of all, because again it is coming out of a large base, right? So this was a large base that started developing back in February, right? And plus its peer also started moving, HPL Electric, plus their orders also, they are all getting some orders and all of that, plus the overall setup looks quite good. This is again a very nice tightness setup, although this is kind of a, this belongs to a reversal kind of category, because although you'll see the overall trend of the stock is a downtrend, but again it was forming a base kind of here. You'll see this double bottom kind of a base that was forming here, plus 200 moving average, plus the price has come up above the 200 moving average, and you'll see a VCP kind of characteristic developing here. See, first dip is a larger one, second is a smaller one, and again the tightness is developing. So usually in this case, what I like to do is that in case of such tightness setups, I try to capture the full I try to capture a short term move, because again when the stock moves out of this tightness area, it usually gives a 10-15% kind of a move, right? So I try to catch that move, that too with a good position size. Next one that I have in my watch list is Hero MotoCorp. Again, uh, this is from the auto sector, which is again holding up well for now, at least, especially the two-wheeler autos as compared to the four-wheeler, right? I was looking at the overall sector. So again, here you'll see tightness developing in this tight range, although it is not that much of a bullish setup. But again, if it comes out of this range, that could be a good sign. Plus, it'll give a good move as well once it comes out of this range from the upper end, somewhere around 5,670 or so. Then we have another from this sector, car trade. So again, this, you'll see this is very similar to the Tarsan products, and you see the stock has this characteristic of moving like this. It goes in consolidation for a longer period, then there's tightness developing, and there's 2-3 days kind of a very sharp move. Again, I am expecting here something similar like that, because again, you'll see the tightness that is developing, the price is above the cluster of all short-term moving averages, that is the 10-day moving average, 21-day moving average, and the 51-day 50-day moving average, right? So again, it comes out of this consolidation, that could be a quick nice move, right? Especially at least if it reaches the previous high, right? So again, I'll keep this in my watch list. Next one I have, that is Time Technoplast, right? So again, first of all, the simple reason was that it is still maintaining the cap up region. Second, it is taking support at the 21-day moving average. Third is that there's a proper consolidation that is happening. So once it comes out of this range, that would be a good sign. So one thing you'll see in most of my stocks is that I am looking at the tightness area of tightness, right? And again, next one, Sheetal Cool Products, again very similar to Time Technoplast, right? Forming a range. So my preference has always been towards the base breakouts, tightness setups, those kind of setups, right? So again, if I get a larger base and there's tightness developing on the right side of the chart, that is even more preferred, right? Plus the stock is in an uptrend, that is another a good sign, right? So this is one is also very similar, coming out, trying to come out of the range. Swan Energy, although this has gone circuit route, but again it is consolidating a bit here, and it's also near its all-time high level. So if it consolidates for some time here and then moves up, that could be a good entry point. So Ircon, this is one from the railway sector, although a very choppy one, and it's not like the outperformer like the RVNL and the Railtel. But again, you see the setup is decent enough. We had tightness developing here, the inside bar. We can also call them the inside bars. As you can clearly see, the every single candle is within the range of the previous candle, right? So it tried to break out from there. The volume is also good, plus the sector itself is performing well, right? Next one that I have is Tata Elxsi. So again, there's nothing special here right now, at least, but you see the overall sector is kind of gaining strength, plus it is kind of forming a base, plus I'll draw this downward trend line. So again, this is a base formation that is happening here. So I've kept this setup in my watch list, because again, I'll just observe it for a few weeks. Let's see if it crosses these areas or not. So that is my preference. So I keep a mixed kind of watch list where I have different kind of stuff, because again, for the coming week I'll be selecting just 5 names, and that I'll keep in my top priority watch list. So that I have a separate watch list where I keep just 4 5 names that are top priority. So these were my top priority names last week, although they didn't perform that really well. But so again, I'll be replacing those names this week, right? Next one that we have is the ONGC, right? So I also want to add another stock, that is NTPC, which is forming a very nice base and a nice consolidation, right? So new gen again, from the IT sector, a nice base formation happening here, and once it comes out of this range, I'm expecting a good move here. ONGC from oil and gas sector already came out of a large consolidation, right? And Gale we have here is near the 3rd June high, and the tightness developing. Again, you can clearly see the tightness developing in this setup, the range getting narrower. So again, it looks ready for a breakout. So again, this could be one of my top 5 priority setup, right? So what I'll do, I'll just add it in that watch list. That is my top priority setups. Next one we have Chennai Petro, although a very choppy setup, but as I said, the sector is gaining strength. Plus, you'll see it moves like this. Usually, it moves like this. It's a bit choppy one, and then suddenly the move comes. Plus, there's a long bit of consolidation that is going on here. So again, I'll be focusing on this setup as well. And the last one, as I said, NTPC. Again, good consolidation happening here, range developing here. So above 380, 383 or so, it should give a breakout. Second watch list that I've kept is this big base watch list size. So this was one of the stocks from the power sector, which had formed a nice base, plus the tightness developing in the overall base, plus last 5 days candles were really interesting right near the resistance zone, and then there was a nice breakout on the Friday, that too with good volume, and the closing was also good. So again, it's not like the move is over yet, because again, it's just it's the first breakout that is happening after a long base development. Because again, if I show you such examples where the stocks are coming out of a range, so Texrail, again, this broke out 2 weeks back, and see how beautifully it moved up from that range. Second one where the setup is still developing, that is Safari. You can clearly see it's a very long range the formation happening. So it is again a big base breakout which is yet to fully develop, but again, I have kept it in my watch list so I don't forget about it. Morpan Laboratories, if you see on the weekly chart, again, a nice setup that is developing here, a kind of a rounding kind of a setup. I won't call it a rounding bottom or so, right? But again, you'll see it moves like this. You'll see the previous, if you'll see the previous movement of this particular stock, you'll see it moves in such manner, right? Where it goes down, forms a base, then comes up, and again comes down, forms a base, and then again comes up. Man Industries, again from oil and gas sector, sorry, pipe sector. My bad for that. So again, it recently came out of a large 5 month long base, and now pulling back towards the breakout zone. So, and that too well above the all the short term moving averages, the 10-day moving average, 21-day moving average. SJVN from the power sector, you'll see again a large kind of a base breakout happening here, although the candle that this candle is not really good. Overall, it is not one of my preferred setup, but again, I've kept it in the watch list as it is kind of a large base breakout, because again, this watch list helped me to learn as well. I keep gaining the experience of looking more charts, ki how they, what kind of setups actually worked, what kind of setups didn't work, what were the characteristics, and all of that. Another setup that I have here is the IFCI. Again, a very nice large base, plus liquidity also improving. If you see, this was moving circuits here, now it has kind of improved, because it has come out of the circuit range. If I see, yeah, again, so the circuit limit has moved up from 10% to 20%, right? And again, you'll see a very big base formation happening, the tightness developing on the right side of the chart, plus the volume also coming in, plus the sales also improving. So this tool is by someone on Twitter, and his username is finally Nitin, right? So he has developed a really amazing tool here that I can simply use to check the fundamentals in the chart itself. So VPRO from the large cap IT sector, right? So this also developed a large base formation here. Last time this was the base formation, again base formation developed here, and after the TCS result it gave a nice breakout from this range. So here the trading plan would be simple. I'll just see if it holds the gap or not, right? So that is the simple trading plan that I would like to follow here. Next one that I have is kind of a circuit stock, although because again liquidity is not that much. If I see the average volume is somewhere around 20k, 30k, 40k or so, right? So liquidity is not that good, but again you'll see a large base developing, that too with the VCP kind of characteristics, right? Again you see VCP kind of formation developing here. So again, I'm repeating in, these talks are not a recommendation in any way. I'm just showing you the process, how you can look for the setups yourself, and what kind of setups you can look at, right? So that is the only purpose of this video. And this one is kind of a reversal setup. So again, facing resistance at the 200-day moving average. So this was again an IPO. Since then it has been falling, but you'll see a very nice stage one kind of a base formation that is happening here. So again, a breakout buy would be good here, somewhere around 235, 236 or so, because again that is that would be a gap filling as well, right? So again, this is one of the good setups. So I guess that is it for today's video. I just wanted to show you the setups which I find which are good for next few weeks, and again how you can look at such setups yourself as well, like what kind, because again there are many scanning criterias that I've already explained in other videos as well, and you might have your own scanning criteria, but at last it comes down to the final selection after looking at the charts, what exactly you are looking in the charts. So that is it for today's video, and I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share.